Haaland versus Nunez.
But is he a good replacement for Mane? Obviously not.
Are they set to fail or will they be a success? Yeah.
He's up there to improve players, so I do see him performing well.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Chatbox podcast. I am joined by Arvin today, my good friend, and we are going to be starting a brand new series of weekly podcasts. But before the season starts, we'll be doing a couple clips, and then once the season starts, we'll get into like a weekly podcast, maybe on a Monday or depending on maybe Monday or Thursday. We'll see. We'll see how it goes depending on when we can fix a date. But today's topic. Haaland versus Nunez. And are they set to fail or will they be a success? Who should we start with first?
Let's start with Nunez.
Nunez? Okay, let's
Yeah,
do
not
it.
much to say about him.
Yeah.
I did see a few clips from his training session and also the game against United. I don't think his presence in the box is much of a threat against the top 6 teams.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting quote there.
You could see kind of panics when the ball comes to him, or if anyone's there putting pressure to him.
Not composed, you're saying?
Sorry?
Not composed.
Yeah, not composed. He's not composed at all. Like even against Man United, if Dalot could put pressure on him,
yeah,
that says a lot. He did miss a few chances also.
Yeah.
Which he should have put away, or any striker should have put away. In saying that though, he did perform well.
Yes.
Benfica. Not that he'll fail, but I don't think he'll make obviously much of an impact as Haaland.
Could we put that down to the fact that it's just preseason? He's coming back a bit rusty.
Could be, yeah, it could be. That performance was just like
it wasn't like he had the chances.
Yeah,
he wasn't clinical. Is what I.
He wasn't clinical,
yeah.
But there was a few chances where the crosses and stuff where he wasn't like properly placed.
Yeah,
to head them in. But is he a good replacement for Mane? Obviously not.
No, I don't think so.
Is he going to have the same impact as Mane or even half? Much as Mane, definitely not.
Probably not. Depends on Liverpool's system, right? Because they're not used to this striker. I mean, he can play across the other positions as well, but I think he's going to be deployed as a striker mainly.
Yeah. But he'll definitely be. He'll improve a lot under Klopp.
Yeah.
With Klopp as a manager, I definitely see him as being one of the top 5 strikers in Premier League.
Probably.
Provided if Klopp works him.
Yeah, that's what.
Works up.
Because Klopp has improved players quite a lot.
Yeah.
That's something we've seen so many times already. Like even Jordan Henderson is probably a really good example of.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't see him failing.
Yeah.
But you never know with Premier League players. You never say anything.
Yeah, fair enough. That's actually a good point because I was looking at his stats in terms of how he will do compared to, let's say, the rest of the players. I was looking at FB Ref, and you can look at. I'll send you the link as well. You can compare a player's stats per 90 compared to the rest of Europe and Europe's top 5 leagues to see how they do. Now, in terms of goals, this guy, he is in the top like 90th percentile.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. But his passing is absolutely bad, like really bad.
Oh, that would come. That would cost Liverpool a lot.
Yeah, if you look at the FB Ref, his passing is like his passes completed are like bottom. It's 2 percentile, so bottom 2.
So that is really bad.
His passing is pretty bad. Now that is something I think Klopp will have to improve. Because his link up play and passing is probably not that great. But his finishing, which is probably what they spent all the money to get him for, his finishing is good. Now,
yeah, fair enough.
He doesn't take enough shots compared to someone like Haaland, a Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Kane even. In terms of shot volume, his shot volume is much more lower compared to them.
which
Um,
is fair enough if
mm,
you're playing in a team where
yes, if you're playing in
uh,
Benfica, who's probably not going to be creating as much as like Spurs or even Ronaldo at Juve or maybe United, not too much, but
yeah,
yeah, and Haaland at Dortmund,
yeah, and also if he since he's playing for a Liverpool team,
he'll get a
which
lot.
is Salah,
Yeah,
and say they bring in someone else as well, it's a shared shot making this thing, so he probably doesn't need
too many. Yeah,
um to he probably is gonna do the same thing what he did for Benfica.
yeah, yeah. Probably
Um,
that could be true.
and also he scored 34 goals in 41 appearances last year. So I definitely don't see him failing.
Mm.
But I do see him struggling a bit early on
Yeah, that's what.
season.
Because I was watching the United game as well. The amount of chances is like he's going to get a lot of chances because you had Trent just spamming in crosses from one side, Robertson spamming in crosses from the other side.
Mm.
He will get on to the end of things. I think he might be a bit frustrating for Liverpool players at the start, because
Probably, yeah.
they might be expecting a very clinical finisher. He might take a bit of time, I think, to adapt to situations. Um, in terms of link up play and everything, we'll have to just see how it goes because his passing stats aren't great, and the stats are there to prove it that his passing like isn't that great. His finishing is good, but yeah. Do you think? What do you think will be a good season for Nunes?
Good season for Nunes. Um, Considering the fact that they're bringing him just to be a finisher.
Yeah,
Um, I'd say overall throughout the season, he played at least what 85%, 90% of the matches.
but
Um,
goals wise, assist wise,
I don't see much of an assist
yeah,
since
same. I also
considering
don't
his
think.
passing
Yeah,
isn't that great.
yeah,
But then also you got Salah, not much of a passer, and tries to finish everything.
that's true. That could be true.
So I'd say a 15 plus goal season would be considered a successful first season for Nunes.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Um, Considering he still has a lot of things to improve on.
Yeah, this is 15 goals all competitions or 15 goals just in the league.
But 15 goals just in the league.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
I do see him scoring a lot of goals in
in other
other
competitions as well. Yeah,
competitions and stuff. Like he has performed for Benfica
yeah,
in the Champions League. So I do see him performing and scoring a lot of goals, but Premier League, 15 plus goals is a good season.
yeah. Fair enough. I'd agree with that. Anything above 15 goals, for him, if he can get, I think it'll be a successful season for him.
Yeah.
But anything below less than double digits in the Prem, I wouldn't call him a failure. I would just say it's just not a successful season. But we've
Yeah.
seen Pep where he's bought in players and their first season hasn't been that great. Like Thiago, first season not used as much. Last season, insane, or like much more better. So they might take a time to adapt as well in their first season. Um, but if he can hit 15 plus goals in his first season, then obviously a success.
Also, the another reason is because he's coming from a team that likes to sit back to a team
Mm,
that presses a lot.
it's a different play
Uh,
style.
it's a totally different place out,
Yeah,
so
and
he'll have to get used to that pace.
and the fact that um, there'll be a lot more interplay required, which means his passing has to improve if he's wanted trying to like they need to hold the ball, pass the ball about against
Yeah.
teams that will sit back in the Premier League.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so we'll see how he does. So yeah, I think I agree with you. Nunes, 15 goals at least to be a successful player in the Premier League this
Also,
season.
also the fact that he's Liverpool's most expensive signing.
Yes, that
Uh,
carries its own pressure.
yeah, it carries a lot of extra pressure. Plus, the media would love to eat up on what Klopp said that he won't sign anyone 80 plus for his team. So there is extra pressure there.
Yeah.
So yeah, a 15 plus will be a good season,
Yep.
a successful season.
Fair enough. Let us know in the comments what do you think will be if what would be a successful season for Nunes. Let us know in the comments. Do you agree with us? 15 goals or more as a successful season or not? If not, tell us in the comments. Let's talk Haaland now. Kind of agree that Nunes wouldn't fail. I think maybe the same could be said for Haaland, although different expectations on Haaland compared to Nunes probably,
Um,
or similar
Repeat the
expectations.
question. Repeat the question.
So we kind of said that Nunes wouldn't be a failure, but we kind of outlined what he needs to do to be a success in the first season in terms
Yeah.
of goals. Now we come to Haaland. The question is, okay, he probably might not be a failure because we know the talent he has going to the best team in the league right now.
Yes.
But he definitely has I would say he has. There are different expectations of him compared to Nunes, maybe.
Or totally different expectations. Um, Also, the fact that they got him for cheap helps a
Cheap.
lot. Yeah, cheap. Like 60 million for Haaland is very cheap.
All the behind the scenes money we shall not talk about.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes.
But yeah, fair enough. 60 million on as a front cost. Yes, is pretty cheap for the player they're getting.
My worry is well whether he's fit enough to last
Yes, that's the
in
one
the
thing.
Premier League.
His
Like
injuries are an issue.
he's had a lot of hamstring issues.
Yes, yes.
Then he had a few hip flexor issues, if I'm correct.
Let me get that up because he's had quite a lot of injuries. There
Yeah.
you go.
He's had hip flexor,
Yeah,
two hamstring injuries.
there you go.
He's also had other muscle injuries and stuff.
Mm.
So now coming on to Premier League,
Yeah,
where he has to be like they bought him for that much money because with his speed and finishing,
yeah.
um, for his speed and finishing. So I don't know how well the um the team is preparing him for the season,
Mm,
but considering his speed has to be at top notch if he wants it to be a successful season,
mm.
he might face some injuries throughout the season.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because I was looking at his injury record. In the league alone, he missed 10 games in the league due to injuries. Um, 4 with hip flexor injuries and another 6 with different muscular injuries. Um, and that could be a problem for City, depending on when those injuries do appear. The other
Yeah,
alternative you could say is that he probably, so this is something that was mentioned to me before, was that him going to City means that he doesn't have to play too many games compared to, let's say, if he went to Real Madrid, where he would have had to play more games, and then the chances of getting injured are much more higher because he's playing way more games. In City,
yeah, that's
probably
true.
he can get rested a bit. Um,
They'll mainly focus on him playing just in Champions League.
Probably because they bought. You would say he's bought mainly for them to be able to win that Champions League, right? Because that's
Yeah,
their one voodoo that they need to try and get.
yeah.
Um,
So and with it probably might be Pep's last season. I don't know if he signed the contract.
I don't know. I
Um,
haven't checked on that.
yeah. So he probably would do his absolute best to make sure that Haaland is well rested for the only Champions League games and only might play one or two important games of
In the
Premier League
Prem.
and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, in the latter season when we get to the latter season, probably.
yeah. When he gets
Yeah,
the latter season.
yeah.
But yeah, for him, like what he scored 86 goals in 89 appearances for
Uh,
Dortmund.
you mean in total?
Yeah, in total.
Let me just check that and confirm. In total for Dortmund, he has had. How do I switch? Here we go. Club. Um, okay, so he's had 86 goals, yes, and 23 assists in 89 matches
Yeah,
for Dortmund. And last season, he had 22 goals and 8 assists in the league alone from 24 appearances. Now, here's the thing. He could probably like get the same tally, maybe. But we've seen players who come from the Bundesliga and have
not live
had a
up to the
drop off.
expectation. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I do see him having a drop off, but not under Pep though.
fair enough. Fair enough.
This is Pep you're talking about,
Yeah.
and not Ole or
But like even
oh,
under for Chelsea, Kai Havertz and Timo Werner, they did take some time to adapt.
true. But then under Tuchel, they improved a lot. So
Okay,
if
so
you bring a world class manager, it's
yeah,
a totally different thing. So Pep is the best of them all.
yeah,
Okay, not better than Klopp, but still
Yeah.
he's up there to improve players. So I do see him performing well, provided he's injury free.
Okay, fair enough. I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think his injuries are going to be the key thing in determining whether he ends up as a success, at least in his first season or not. Because a player like him, with the injuries he's got at such a young age, could be a bit of a risk at times. As long as he doesn't as long as he doesn't miss too many games for City, I think he should get the goals he needs. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. What do you think?
I mean, for 60 million, I don't think it's much of a risk.
Mm,
Like Pep will just use him all out just to win that one Champions
mm,
League.
mm.
And then he doesn't care what happens to Haaland after that, right? So he'll like make sure Haaland goes all out for the important matches.
Mm.
But yeah, like I don't see any Premier League defender. Now that Rudiger is gone.
Yeah,
Um
because Haaland he's an absolute unit to
yeah, he's an absolute
control.
unit.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
I don't see any defenders other than Van Dijk.
yeah. Probably right. Who can
Liverpool's
handle?
defense
Yeah,
stopping
one to
him.
one.
So he could easily, if he plays 30 matches in the
Yeah,
Premier League,
yeah.
I see him easily scoring 15 plus goals.
20 plus even, probably easily.
Yeah, probably 20 plus.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no one in the Premier League is stopping him in the air or in the ground.
So do you think the hype for him, that people expect him to come and like plays through like the same way he was doing in Dortmund, will be justified? Or I think people should kind of lower their expectations because he's not going to be as, because
But
there is the counter thing that people would say the Bundesliga is a more attacking league, so people don't like defend as much. But whereas the Premier League, you could see a lot more teams willing to defend.
yeah, but he has made an impact in every league he has played or every tournament he has played at, every team he has played at. So I still see him making impact.
Fair enough.
He probably might not be scoring 20 plus goals, but I still see him making a massive impact in the Premier League in his first season, provided he stays injury free.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because no one can match his speed.
Yes, that's the thing. No one can. He like even Nunes is pretty fast. But Haaland, I think because he's just much more. He seems like a much more unit and speed as
properly
well.
built. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one can get him up in the air as well, other than Van Dijk.
Yeah, most likely. Can't think of any other like centre back who's going to be giving him too much of a challenge in the Premier League.
Like the only way you could stop Haaland is probably stopping the balls that are fed to him,
which is not going to be easy with City.
Which is not going to be easy with the City team as well.
Yeah.
So it's not unfair if you expect him to score 15 plus goals in his first season.
Yeah, fair enough. So I'd say for him to be a success, I think he needs to score at least 20 plus in the league.
Yeah, fair enough. With that City team.
Yeah.
It is a fair enough expectation. Like it's not like he's playing for Man United where
the chances are less. Yeah.
Way less than what he would get at City.
Yeah.
So and also they're bringing him as a pure number 9 striker.
Yeah.
And his only job is to finish. So 20 plus goals is a fair enough assumption.
Yep. I was looking at it, like his stats are also like top tier. His passing is also much more better than Nunez as well. So he shouldn't have too much of an issue. It's not that great his passing, but it's acceptable.
Also when Aguero and Jesus played for City as number 9, they were not expected to pass and stuff or hold the ball.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I don't know if Pep would change his tactics now that he knows he has a proper number 9 striker who can hold the ball and also much stronger than Aguero. I don't know if he'll change his tactics or still stick with the same tactic where they just pass it to him or feed him the ball and he finishes it. But yeah, let's see what Pep does with him.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll probably touch this in another video in terms of some of the other teams as well. But quick thought on what do you think about like Sterling and all leaving?
Will City miss it? Last season he didn't do anything at all, so I don't think it'll impact. It won't impact them at all in leaving. They still have enough players.
Julian Alvarez is a decent enough replacement, or we wait and see on him?
We'll have to wait and see on him.
Okay.
I don't know much about him, so we'll have
Yeah.
to wait and see on him.
Yep. Fair enough. All right, cool. That will bring the end for this video. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? I mean, this is a controversial topic. There will be people who will agree. There will be people who disagree. Let us know in the comments. Either way, leave a like, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you for the next video, which will discuss about United. So see you guys later.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is